everybody. Mwah! We are hopefully live because sometimes StreamYards is StreamYards. But as you can see, I have two wicked awesome people.
It's alive.
It's alive.
It would appear.
He's all quiet. It would appear. Anyway, here I know y'all probably heard this 100 times before, but we just happen to be actually on the conversation of gender swapping in films. And I guess we can chat a little more about it while we're letting everybody come in, because we got 3 people at the moment, and usually it takes forever for everybody to realize that we're live and to get here. So I don't tweet it out because it jinxes me. You can totally ask Slasher. If I tweet out
right now on my end.
Oh, well, it might work if you do it, but if I do it, it jinxes. It it goes to shit. Oh, poor Wookie. Are you gonna be okay? Meow to you, Terry Rose, and Mongo. Mwah, thank you. My sanity is brought to you today by Mongo and his niceness. Doug says hello to y'all. Wookie is losing his mind.
You gonna be okay there, Wookie?
Those are great braids.
Valkyries are talking. Oh, okay. I that's good to know, I guess. Meow Bone, how are you doing? Both bones, apparently. You got bones plural.
Dog bone and cat bone. Okay.
Meow meow. Not 10 people. Okay, there they are. It just took a while for everybody to get their notifications. More may or may not show up. I don't know, because my channel likes to try to keep what's this word? Crowd control nice, so it doesn't try to get too fancy or wild with things.
Oh, well, YouTube, you're talking about, you think you've been shadow banned? Do you think you've been shadow banned?
I don't know why I would. I mean, I don't.
None of us know. None of us.
I never really do anything to make waves, really.
Nobody knows why Google does the things that they do, other than they have the power to do so.
Usually, the people who say they get shadow banned usually talk about stuff is
more controversial.
Controversial, and my stuff it borderlines usually either just live streams where we're just kind of chilling and talking, and occasionally watching weird ass videos of top 10 weird places. Nothing that would be controversial. My WTF news, if anything, would probably be where it was at, since I did call our whatever at the moment, hair sniffer, and the other one a crooked district attorney. I mean, that'd do it.
That would do it. Yeah.
That might have something to do with it.
But
they don't like that.
But that usually has a decent amount of people coming in anyway, so I'm really not entirely sure. So I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe there is no rhyme or reason necessarily to what in the world. I don't know. But anywho's, excuse me, hairball. Anyway, so let me go see. So let me get our little videos queued up. So, and I don't want Halloween to end. I didn't even hardly get to have a Halloween, to be honest, because we had a power outage for 5 days.
5 days?
Yeah, ice storm hit.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so bad. I was
rough.
trying to tell myself to be patient, and maybe they're just helping people who need the electricity, people with oxygen tanks and shit. So it was the only thing keeping me going from not screaming at folk.
I'm not sure that's how it works.
I'm sorry?
I'm not sure that's how it works. I don't know. I mean,
I guess if you call the electric company and you're like, hey, listen, we need our power back on as soon as possible. That we have a family member who is on oxygen, things like that. I would imagine they would make that priority. I would hope.
Oh, I meant
they need it more than I do at that point.
No, I would agree, but I'm not sure. Was it just your area? Was it just your house?
The first one. I'm sorry. Around Halloween, the first one was only. Oh God, I think the highest number they recorded was close to 400,000 power outages around the state.
What state are you in?
Oklahoma, neighbor.
Wow. Oh wait, neighbor. We're not neighbors. I'm all the way out here in Kentucky.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, I think you must have told me you were from Texas.
No, Andrew's in Texas. I'll be going.
I still thought you were from it before. I thought
I've lived there before.
Okay, maybe that's where I got it from. I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay, hello, neighbor.
I lived in El Paso for about 2 years. So
Oh, okay.
I was like, neighbor. I'm nowhere
Okay.
near Oklahoma.
I actually want to try something. Does this work?
Yeah.
It does. I've seen people do it.
Yay!
All right, I've seen people do it, but I had never actually tried it till just now. I was like, so just click and drag? Is that what we do? God, I hope I don't shut this down. Okay. Sorry, dude.
No apologies necessary.
He knows I like being on top.
No.
This is usually my position. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
So there's that.
thank you, Night Breeze. You're a sweetheart. Mwah. Oh, it jumped on me. There's where I was trying to say thank you. Kitty is playing. Yes, I am playing a little bit. I'm being silly. Hey, Darth Husher, how are you? And Terry Rose again. Mwah. So glad y'all could visit. So, anywho's, but yeah, the dinner swap thing, I don't even necessarily mind it. It's just, I think that everybody can agree. It's kind of how you go about it, you know. But
yeah,
the
but
way
it
they're
also
going
set
about
a
it is
precedent
shit.
and started a habit. Is I think the issue. Now we're just seeing it constantly.
Yeah, like I'm one of those people. Like, if the person can do the job, then let them. But if you're doing it just for the sake of having a pair of tits on the screen, that's it. It's like, you know.
Oh, we're talking about the gender swap thing again? Is that what
Oh, I figured we'd finish that bit of the conversation.
Oh, yeah. No, I
videos.
was just having a hard time. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Woke up. No. I just woke up, and so my brain's still foggy. I haven't had any.
I'm kind of
coffee
ADD, so we're probably on the same playing field at this point. So it's okay.
No,
Well,
look, the truth is I don't really. I back before 2016, I would have said gender swap wasn't a big deal from time to time, right? Like I would have been
Right.
like, oh yeah, that's fine, that's cool.
but just do it decently. And make a movie decently in general, guy or girl.
The reason that they're doing it these days, though, is it's to put a check mark in inclusivity, right? It's to put a check mark in diversity.
And I don't see anything wrong with that as long as you do it okay. Give everybody a fair shake, but a decently done fair shake.
I would
But
agree.
when it's so forced and fake, it's awful.
I would agree with what you're saying to a point that, yeah, like, sure, give everyone a fair shake. But simultaneously, when that becomes your motive, right? When that becomes the driving force, you relinquish desire to tell a cohesive, good story.
Right.
Because your motive is no longer about the story. Your motive is something else. And
Yeah.
so and I'm not saying that you can't tell a good story and be inclusive and all that jazz. Of course you can.
Yeah.
But it really comes from looking at the casting aspect as being incidental, and far less important. Like it needs to be a happenstance thing, not a
Right. That's why I said you gotta at least have decent actors and give decent actors a decent shake at it. But like, if you just say, "Hey, I'll pick you, you, and you," just so we can cover all the bases and then throw them in, it's like.
Well, what the focus should first and foremost be is telling a good story and then having
Right.
good characters. And then you go, okay, I'm going to tell a good story with well-written characters, and these are what the characters are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Not, these are the kinds of characters that I want, and we'll kind of bullshit our way as we go, and I really don't care where we end up because at least I have these. That's what we've been getting.
Yeah. That's very true. That's
For storytellers, it should always be story first.
Yeah.
Everything else comes afterwards.
Well, and a lot of the excuses these days are like, well, it's not real, it's fiction. So what are you upset about, right?
You still want a real good story.
Well,
Right.
fiction or not, you want a story. A story's supposed to be entertaining or thought provoking or at least some kind of moral or to the story or lesson to learn. Something.
And it needs to have rules. Unfortunately, people like I'm so sick of the argument. Like we'll bring it back around to Star Wars because that's sort of my venue, right? But like stories need to have rules, cohesive rules, in order to function properly, in order for you to give a damn. And so, like, people are like, oh, it's just a movie about space wizards. Well, yeah, but if you started writing a story where Blarg from the planet Gluda decided to head off and fight the Emperor Zurg on the sun because both of them had fire immunity, you would want to know how that worked.
Mhm.
And so it's important to understand that when you get into writing stories, you need to have rules and a foundation. Otherwise, none of it matters and none of it makes sense. And why am I here?
Fictional worlds
Right.
still need to have rules that they
That's
follow.
why I'm looking very
Otherwise,
forward
you
to
remove the belief.
You can write a nonsense story. Alice in Wonderland is a really good representation of how to write a story in a world where everything is contrary to sort of
Yeah, it's supposed to be weird.
yeah, you can absolutely write a story where things are contrary to what how you think things should work, right? But you have to establish that, and those rules are still rules in and of themselves, right? Up is down, north is south, all of that jazz. It still has to have rules, even if those rules are counterintuitive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking forward to the upcoming Ghostbusters, is because it seems to be the children, or at least one of the children of one of the Ghostbusters, and so I think it just happens to be a girl, and it shows that they might be trying to pick up their legacy and check out the history of like what had happened, things like that. Like I can see this working way better, and now they're dragging their heels about it, releasing it because of like viruses and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake, stream that shit, get it over with, charge people if you have to. Come on.
You know what was a good movie that just it happened to be girls was Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Yeah, they did weirdly good. I mean, she acted more like Keanu Reeves than Keanu Reeves did back then. Like, she did a weirdly good job. Like, it was cute.
It was a cute movie. It was a good movie. I actually was never even a fan per se of Bill and Ted and all that stuff. It was a little.
I wasn't a super fan. I didn't mind it, but it was. I wasn't. Yeah.
But I get the cult following. I do get it, right? It rings true for me. And so, like, I'm sitting over here going, like, if you're going to make it, especially because it didn't make sense, right? Like, when they introduced their kids, because I watched the 2 movies following up to this or whatever, when they introduced their kids, their little Bill and little Ted or whatever, and you're like, this is supposed to be boys, right? But then they go on to explain literally, and it totally makes sense. These 2 are just that big of a jackass that they would call their girls little Bill and little Ted, right? Their names are like Theodora and so it's like it makes sense.
Right.
They're just that big of a jackass, and it's almost it almost works even better given their personality and their traits.
Yeah, it's a movie that's supposed to be fun, but like it's not to be overly taken serious.
Right, you were never meant to take Bill and Ted serious.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's why it worked out the way it did.
And it really was a great movie, and they pulled off the whole it's their kids thing pretty well.
It didn't stomp on the lead actors, but the kids were supportive, and then the parents became supportive, of what the kids were wanting to do. So there wasn't just like like down with the patriarchy attitude in it.
Oh no, it had nothing to do with.
They loved their parents, and they were trying to help get things better. That sounds. Woo! That was a keyboard. The phone's wireless. Woo! Drop it like a remote.
Holy shit!
I actually haven't seen any of the Bill and Ted movies.
Oh, baby, I'm sorry. You should. We should watch those.
Yeah, you should. I'm kind of in shock.
I've heard they're fun.
They're cute. They're very cute.
You kind of have to embrace the stupid.
Not too stupid, but stoner mentality. It's kind of all right, man. Kind of yeah. You got to feel your 90s again.
It's you kind of own that these 2 are just a couple of jackasses and just go on the ride. Just go on the ride.
I'd say they're more goofballs. I think Jackass has more thoughtlessness in it, where goofballs, they're just kind of goofballs, but they mean well.
Well, sure, they do mean well. Clearly they mean well, but they are very thoughtless guys.
Darn it, Steven Seagal.
I mean, you may be putting a more a more derogatory spin on jackasses than I particularly receive. Like I perceive jackasses to come in all shapes and sizes, and it's more of a spectrum for me when it comes to jackasses. So jackasses,
Like, for example, on Shenanigans, we're all a panel of jackasses.
yeah, we all act like jackasses on Shenanigans, but we don't mean any harm.
No, but I think obviously I was more goofballs. Like, but that's a good thing though.
Yeah. I'm completely comfortable with someone calling me a jackass when I watch Shenanigans. I know you do, JJ.
We love
know
you,
you
Lord. Huh? Oh, okay. I understand now. Give me a second. I was confused. I was like, what? Huh? What's happening?
I think that's what was happening.
Yeah, I kind of half read it right and half wrong, and I was like, but he was telling me he did a good job on that spot, and I was just, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Miss, oh God, no! Missy is terrible. You're fired, Night Breeze. God, that Missy married like 3 people in the same family. That's just weird.
Yeah.
No,
that was a
Night Breeze is fired.
joke. The fact that they continued that joke in the 3rd movie was both hilarious and
Oh my God, yeah, because she was married to one guy, and then she married another, and then like was marrying a 3rd, and I'm like,
I think she married his brother. So I think it started with she married. I don't remember who it was. Like I like.
It was his dad. So yeah,
it was
kept
one of their
having to call Missy and mom, and so he had to go from calling her mom to calling her sis to calling her sis again or something like that. It was weird.
I think she switched. I think she jumped families, didn't she?
No. I'm not entirely sure. It was a very weird scene, and I didn't replay the movie. I only watched it once. I could pull off the look.
Sounds really
you
weird.
better mean I could pull off the look from her in the 90s, not now. Night Breeze. Night Breeze got timed out for 300 seconds. It'll make me feel bad.
I think he meant well, and
I know, but
all things considered, she looked great for her age. All things considered.
I don't even know. I'd have to look it up. I'm not even sure if it's the same person or not. So, I mean, I know they got as many people back from the original as they could, which makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, I was so sad they didn't get George Carlin back.
Well, if only they could. If they had tried CGI, it just would have. Everybody would have been angry.
Yeah. It was like, obvious, but I mean, I
If
think
man could just live to 100, we could have had this down, but no.
I think he was.
Darn it! He let us down.
He had too much of a rocker lifestyle.
All right, hold on.
Bill's stepmother, she married 10.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember quite how it went, but I remember he was up there giving this weird speech at the wedding, and you're just like, oh, Jesus.
That sounds like a mess.
Oh, yes. It opens in a mess, and you're just like, and it's weird because he's trying so hard to be that valley boy that he was in the original Bill and Ted's, and all I can see is John Wick up there trying to pretend to be a valley boy, and I'm just like, I mean, once you see John Wick, you just don't come back from it. You don't. And like with that robot, I really thought he was going to kill the robot with a pencil. I was hoping, and
that would have been a funny callback then.
I would have loved it, but he was trying so hard to this, but he just had John Wickness about him, and I can't see him that same little airheaded, like, a guy again. I can't.
I will admit it was bizarre. The girls, their kids pulled it off better than they did, honestly. And maybe it has something to do with youth, but in a weird way, it almost makes it funnier to me.
It was funny, but it was weird. I was like, so. Like, he is time traveling with John Wick. That is awesome.
It really didn't fit. It really didn't.
It didn't. Like the daughters they must have grown up watching those movies again and again or something, because they acted so much like they used to that it was uncanny.
You know what I just had popping in my head? Oh my God, baby! Tell me if this isn't like really hilarious sounding. Can you imagine method acting? Freaking Bill and Ted.
Oh my God. Hey, look at him. He's like, I'm going to have to watch this first.
Well, I mean, Andrew knows who Bill and Ted are.
Yeah, I know of them. I just haven't actually seen the movies. I've seen clips.
Imagine trying to method act Bill and Ted. Just
So I'd have to find a way to extract several thousand brain cells.
Or just make them slightly dormant.
Or that, yeah. Put them to sleep. So basically, okay, so just me before coffee in the morning. That's it. That's all I gotta do.
I don't know, baby. You've
What in
never
the
been
world's
a
going on?
parent.
Hey, keep it down. You sound like I heard a bloody elephant. It's like one or two kids, and they sound like they each weigh 500 pounds the way they run down the hall so heavy-footed.
Lord Almighty, I didn't hear anything.
If y'all gonna fight, take it outside.
Give them sticks before they go. Let them fight.
Who did that to your cream? What is wrong with you? Why would you do that?
She was talking shit.
You're both grounded.
Hot, grounded, get grounded.
Hey, you're at 40. I'm 41. I'm grounding you anyway. Sorry.
Lord.
My daughter and her stepdadish.
I mean, like, my parents, I'm still terrified my mom's going to spank me, so.
Huh?
Like, no, I still won't cross my mom because I'm pretty sure she'll spank me, so. Like,
Oh, my
mom would
I
keep it
thought at
in.
18, I was even beyond that. And at one point when I was 18, my mom actually did ground me, and it made it work. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
If my mom was still alive, she would probably have ground me numerous times.
My mom was actually a funny story. Do you want to hear a funny story?
Always, always.
So I have 2 tattoos, right? I have
Oh, Jesus, save us.
yeah. So I have Tinkerbell on my shoulder, but the first tattoo I ever got was a little heart on my butt. I worked at a nursing home, and it was I used to get called Mare Bear for like Care Bear, right?
Aww.
By my residents. And so to kind of, and I did that for a few years, and it was just something I really loved. And so I got a little heart put on my butt.
Like little Care Bears do.
Exactly, right? And so one day I was at my mom's house, and I think I was like, I don't know, I got the tattoo when I was like, I want to say 19 or like, yeah, it must have been about 19. This is like a year or 2 years later, right? I've had the tattoo for a while at this point. So much so that like at this point, like I kind of forget it's back there because I can't see it. Right? I can't see it. And like it's just normal for me, right? Like I just move along, and it's in a discreet enough place that I never have to think about it.
Right.
So, but I'm at my mom's house one day, and I have this really cute like light powder blue bikini, and we're all just kind of hanging out. It's summertime, and I'm getting ready to go out into the pool, and my mom grabs me out of nowhere and yanks me and turns me around. She's like, "What is that?" And I hadn't realized that the bikini was sheer just enough that you could see the outline of the tattoo underneath of it.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, and she goes, "What is that?" And I was like, "Nothing. It's like a press on, Mom. It's not real. I had it painted on." And she's like, "No." She starts yanking my bottom down so that she can like pull it and look at it and see if it's real or not.
Oh my God.
Well, there's no one else. It's just the family.
Oh, thank God, but still.
So I'm like, "Mom, stop." And she's like, "You got it." It's like she's freaking out on me.
That sounds like my mom.
screaming.
That sounds like my mom. It really does.
She's screaming. She's like, "That is forever. That is forever. You do not get to take that back." And I was like, "Mom, you don't understand. It was for a good reason." And she's like, "There's no such thing as a good reason for a tattoo." I'm like,
Sounds like her. Wow. I wonder if we were separated at birth.
she starts smacking my hip and my butt like you know what I'm talking about, like that smack, like she's pissed off and she starts smacking it, and she's clearly livid, right? And I was like, "Mom, please." So I mean, like, it was a while before I got her to calm down enough to explain to her the reason behind the tattoo.
My mom did not care. And my mom, this is going to sound so dysfunctional and ruin how funny your story was. My mom actually almost tried to like kind of encourage me to cut them off.
Oh my God. Oh
yeah.
my God.
She said no respectable man will ever want to marry you if you have tattoos.
Ooh. Look, I think
yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, because I was finding really, solid guys beforehand.
I think there's a line. Like, obviously, I think if
yeah,
you're running around and you are like covered in tattoos, You're
Oh,
probably
I am now. Well, as much as I could afford. I couldn't have afforded a tattoo since 2011. But
well. Look, I'm looking at your arm though, and I don't see any visible tattoos on you.
after she was gone.
Oh, you're breaking up. Did she break up for you too, baby?
Yeah, she did for a second just now, and she still is.
Did everything
actually.
just taste purple for a minute? Anyway, but I got these in actually I got these in 2000. I may have had these little forces. I made sure I kept my sleeves covered, but like the first one I ever had was the Irish flag that's coming up now because it looked like a band-aid. Honestly, it wasn't very good. Don't ever get your tattoos done by tweakers for $50, okay? Everybody.
That sounds like a bad idea. Yeah.
I was 18. Everything sounds like a good idea when you're 18.
See, I think there's a difference between like a shoulder piece or an upper arm piece.
Oh yeah, it was
And
and she.
you can cover your tattoos, Moira, right? Like
Oh yeah,
you,
but she. Oh, bless America. No,
You can-
she thought I was ruined as a person. Like she had to like only criminals and drug addicts get
That's what
tattoos.
my
I
mom-
mean,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
actually,
Well, that
I
used to
got
be
this
the
one, and I
stigma.
got a Trinity knot right about. Well, I'm trying to explain. I guess where an ovary would be. I guess like. So, like, yeah, but she saw that one on my arm. Oh, yeah, it was a shamrock that was on this arm. It's kind of camouflaged in now, but it was shamrock on this arm, an Irish flag on this arm. And oh, man. I remember her smacking me in the arm, too, when I was asleep. And she walked in, and I didn't know it, and I guess I was wearing a tank top. She come in my room, and I woke up to a smack on her. I'm like, son of a bitch. Because it was only a week old at that point. So that
Oh, so it was
not-
still fresh, so it hurt like a mother.
I was like, It's like someone just smacked her sunburn. I'm like, son of a. She goes, why do you have to, and I did the same thing you did. I tried to tell her it was a fake. And she goes, no, it's not. And yeah. Oh, God almighty.
I mean, moms are just looking out for you, obviously. I'm kind of curious now, though, baby. Would you ever get a tattoo?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mhm.
What would you get? Like, besides the obvious wolf?
Why would you think that would be obvious?
That's the first thing I thought of, too.
Feel like you're judging me.
We are. It'd probably be one of those Celtic design wolves, too.
Well, you're not far off, actually. So, I just so happen to have an old sketchbook here that
Oh, you
was
got it
designing.
planned.
That I was designing potential things to do. So I don't know how well this is going to show up given my current lighting. We'll see how it goes.
Honey.
This one's kind of a runic Norse wolf that I would have stuck kind of on the arm.
Yeah, you might have to get it closer.
Yeah, baby, try turning off that side light.
The side light. This one's the main light.
Okay, yeah, we can kind of see it-ish. Yeah. It looks like
It's
some of
probably
those
fairly
It
light.
looks like
It's
one of those
pencil.
battle helmets they'd wear.
It's pencil and it's several years old. So
You can see it. You can see it, though. But that is a badass looking wolf, though.
and,
I was picturing something with more of a Celtic design, but like a silhouette of a wolf is what I was picturing. That's not bad. That's not bad either, though. That's still boss. Oh, is that a tree?
Yeah.
Okay, I was making sure I was seeing what I was seeing because it looked like
Yep.
a tree, but it wasn't.
North
100%
Yggdrasil tree.
Righto.
Yeah.
And Andrew and I are going to have to go get tattoos together.
Do not tattoo each other's name. That is a jinx. Do
No,
not do it.
no.
Just
I-
putting
Okay, I
names in
just thought I
general
would.
is
I
tacky,
thought I
if you
would
ask
warn
me.
a warning there. That anybody who's going to get one, do not do that.
Well, I think just putting names is tacky anyway.
I think it depends. Like if it's a mom, a dad,
I was about to say, yeah. I think if
siblings,
it's
children, those are forever, whether they die or not. But
Yeah,
like boyfriends and husbands and wives, not so much. Now it doesn't hurt to get a matching tattoo. Like you could get like, for instance, she could get a heart that has like a skeleton key lock on it, and you could get a tattoo of a skeleton key. So even if you're apart and something bad happens, God forbid, it's not like it's a chick's name; it's a key.
So I actually have a matching tattoo. My other tattoo. I got it with a friend I had at the time. We had a bad falling out because she was the kind of person who never paid her bills when you were trying to help and you put them in your name for her, and then she
Oh.
doesn't pay them and it ruins your like credit or whatever.
Oh.
But we had matching tattoos. We both got Tinkerbell inverted, like so they when we rested our it was bad because she was a lot taller than I was, but like if she stooped down and we like leaned shoulder to shoulder, it looked like they were leaning against each other.
Oh, okay, that's
Tinkerbell?
cute. But even apart, it still looks like a cute tattoo.
But it was
so
it
works.
was still my Tinkerbell tattoo that I'd always
Right.
wanted. I actually need to get it touched up. So I have one more I'm gonna get, one more tattoo that I'm determined to get, and that is the bell jar from Beauty and the Beast. And I want to get like the rose with one flower petal falling, and I want it to have like script around it that says, "But she warned him not to be deceived, for beauty was found within."
Ooh.
Yeah,
Meow.
yeah, I like that.
Oh, I can't wait till a day where I can like get tattoos again. To be able to not worry about guacamole being extra, or be able to space out when I'm pumping gas.
There's two more I'd like. One more I have to do. If I get the bell jar, I'll be happy. But I'd like to get Rogue put somewhere on my body as well.
Mm.
Yeah. Everything I get, I want to be able to hide reasonably well, right? Like my one on my shoulder, the one on my butt. But I don't want to get it I don't want to get it on my back. I'd like to get it maybe on my other shoulder and maybe get one on the, I don't know, maybe on the back of my calf or something. I wouldn't mind having Rogue like on my back of my calf. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get it. Get Rogue tattooed on my inner thigh, so no one ever.
That sounds painful as hell. Oh no! Oh my God, no! Just no, Tommy.
That's just an otter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Just
gracious!
water puppies.
Yeah. Andrew and I already decide when we have kids, they're going to be little otters.
Oh my God! Oh my Lord! Oh God! That reminds me of Chris. Oh my God!
What?
Well, all right. So I fancy myself a tabby cat, and Chris is built like a cheetah. You know, he's long, lanky, and well, not lanky, but lean. And so I call him a cheetah. He goes, and my daughter was like, well, I want to be part cheetah too. And he's like, we can be whatever we want. And I'm like, what? And he goes, I want to be cheetah, wolf, dragon. I'm like, now hold on. This interspecies miscegenation shit's getting way out of hand. Hold on. And so yeah, he does it because he thinks, he's like, those are my three favorite animals. Heck yes, I can be this. Why not? If you can be a tabby cat, why can't I be a cheetah, wolf, dragon? I'm like, because that DNA that dog don't hunt. No.
You gotta find a real world equivalent, right?
Yeah. I'm not seeing it.
Oh my God! Oh, the kids drew it though. Deidre drew it though. It was body of a cheetah, has glasses like he does, dragon wings. All right, no, I think it's a fluffy wolf tail or something, and like dragon wings on a cheetah. Like she drew this. It was like, I'm like, my daughter has turned against me, son of a bitch.
Nah. You find like a real world equivalent. Baby, what like the real world equivalent of that would be what? Like an ocelot?
Yeah. I mean that ocelots. Yeah, you could kind of look at that in terms of a cheetah and.
It's like it's a more
house cat.
domesticated, easily domesticated cheetah.
Yeah, ocelots. I'm not a cat
smaller
person at all by any stretch of the term, but ocelots are cool as shit.
Oh yeah.
See, I can't believe I just pulled ocelot out of my head out of nowhere.
You're
Like,
brilliant.
Oh,
That's
wow.
good.
I was kind of proud of myself. Like I'm sitting here trying to think of the mix between a house cat and a cheetah, and I just pulled ocelot out of my ass.
Well, it's a perfect. Well, you pulled it out quite well because that is pretty accurate.
That was
But
pretty
yeah,
good.
so y'all talk about mixing dolphins and wolves. I'm just like, and otters. I'm like, Jesus God. Anywho's ever caffeinated dolphin.
That would be caffeinated mayhem.
It's caffeinated. You know what I've come to find though? I managed to pick a name, Mary Mayhem or whatever, that gets paired well with so many other names. Like one of my good friends, Jesse, Exaggeration Nation is what he goes by. Exaggerated Mayhem, Miss Sarcastic Nerd, Sarcastic Mayhem. Like it gets paired well, and I'm pleased with that. I'm very pleased with that.
But now I can't use it.
Mayhem is an easily paired word.
But I like Caffeinated Mayhem the best.
I would hope
Cat
so.
mayhem. Yeah, that doesn't go well.
It sounds like anarchy.
Mhm.
It just sounds like complete anarchy.
I love it.
Like I can just see Andrew and I on pogo sticks going down the boingy 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 boingy. Like,
I can now.
see, that image is in your head. You got to keep that.
It is. It is. That and the pogo balls.
Yeah. Yeah.
I miss pogo balls weirdly.
Why did my brain just take me all the way to Leprechaun? You know the movie Leprechaun?
Yes, I'm just not
Yeah.
sure why you got that.
Because he murders a guy with a pogo stick.
Does he really?
Yeah.
After about the second one, I just gave up. And I think they're up to 10 now. I'm not even sure.
It's like hop on your pogo stick. Like
Kill the guy with the pogo stick. It's just fucking
He
crazy
did.
shit. I just can't with that. Like, what? Oh my.
Not
Anywho.
seen that movie.
it's got Jennifer
Alright.
Aniston in it.
I know it's got her in it, but I don't know. Never struck me as one of those horror films that I would bother watching.
It's really not. Like if I can watch it, it's probably not a
Okay, first off, Peter Griffin was not wearing a bikini. He was wearing his t-shirt tied up, and he was wearing Daisy Duke shorts.
Mm.
That's still a terrible picture, but I have watched that show way too many times.
I have that in my head now.
Yeah, me too.
That's horrifying.
It is.
Yeah, I'm gonna go wash my eyes with bleach.
Sadly, it's past the eyes.
Hell yeah. Whoa!
It's just as well.
I just looked at my
What's wrong?
text messages. I have a shit ton of text messages.
Oh
Sorry.
my. Well, all right. So everybody, we'll get started watching weird ass videos,
Woohoo!
and also give you a chance to check messages while you're watching the weird shit.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I just looked down and I was like, holy shit. I've got a shit ton of messages.
There we go. It took it a second. All right. So this one is scary videos that will sort you right out, which is a weird title. I know. I'm guessing they're looking at this thing right here in the sky. I'm guessing, but
Is it like a UFO?
technically, by its definition, if it's unidentified and it's flying, it technically is.
All right. If you want to get
Alien.
really technical about it, yeah.
Technical makes me not sound crazy.
How you doing? I'm Callan. And this
Oh
is
my
Slime
god, I
Man.
don't care,
Today we're
dude.
looking at some freaky videos.
Skip him. There we go.
Posted to the Bitch Instagram page, this video seems to quite literally show a glitch in the Matrix. Captured outside, the video shows a point in the sky where the inexplicable is occurring. In the middle of the air, surrounded by palm trees, a strange object seems to be floating.
Oh, what's that?
It looks to be a
Huh.
palm frond frozen in space and time.
There's probably some kind of web.
It
holding
almost
that
looks
up.
like we're seeing a glitch simulation. Half the elements in the video seem to make sense.
It looks like a
Palm
lamppost.
frond's been copied and pasted to the wrong part of the sky. The video zooms into the weird object, showing that it isn't simply a doctored photograph. Some commenters thought perhaps there was a thin power line or piece of string holding the palm
Yeah, that's
leaf
what I
up.
would have guessed. Although it's not
While
blowing in
viewers
the
may not be
breeze or
certain to
anything.
what exactly is happening in this video, freaky videos like these certainly lend credence to the idea that we might actually be living in a simulation after all.
Well, I want someone to upgrade my simulation.
It just looks like a lamppost to me.
Today's episode is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid Shadow Legends is
They
an
don't
epic
usually have
turn-based
to, like,
strategy
interrupt
game
this
that
with this
plays
shit.
like a
I don't know what
AAA
they're doing right
title
now.
right on your phone. There's literally hundreds of champions to
What
collect,
is
customize, and
this
send into battle.
crap?
3 ancient shards, 1 energy
Okay.
refill, and an awesome free champion, the Executioner.
All right, there we go. They don't usually put ads
Just
in
check
like this.
on another vehicle driving just ahead. After a bit of time, the vehicle must swerve to get around something in the way of the road. It's only when the vehicle with the dash cam approaches that same area that questions as well as concerns start to be raised. There are quite a few freaky videos on the internet featuring ominous figures standing in the middle of the road, but the scariest are those that seem to be quite clearly corporeal. As the car comes closer, it's quite clear that a man is standing right in the middle of the road.
What in the world?
Still, the figure appears to be completely unconcerned with the possibility of being hit by a vehicle.
Maybe he's on something.
In fact, the figure's stance almost appears to be a challenge to oncoming vehicles, practically asking them to do their worst.
You know, people are weird. Yeah, I don't find this creepy. I think the guy needs drug tested.
Yeah.
Inspection, the figure appears to be unnaturally pale and expressionless. While the video claims the figure is a ghost, this creepy
Moira,
for God's
figure on
sake.
the road barely needs a supernatural influence in order
Moira,
to
do you want me to share the video? Because it's really, really, really glitchy, and they're having a hard time seeing anything.
Oh, darn it. I hate when my stuff does that.
It might come through a little cleaner if I share it.
Okay.
Here, just put the link here in that private chat.
Oh, actually, if you go to my channel and go to my watch list, it's in there.
Okay. All right. Is it just hold on, let me pull up your channel.
I'm in there somewhere.
Watch list.
Hey, Pickles, how are you?
I don't even see your watch list. I'm not sure. Where would your watch list be?
That's weird, but I will go find it then.
Well, you can just literally just copy that link.
Well,
Copy.
there's a playlist. Although we should probably skip this one. This one seems kind of lame. I don't usually watch the videos before I show them to people because that way it's a surprise for everybody.
Sure.
I'm starting to see that perhaps maybe that's not the best plan at this point. So let me see.
Yeah, if you can
Hold
just
on.
copy the link and put it here in the private chat, then I can share it.
I'm trying. There's watch list or watch later, whatever. Come on.
I'm not sure I can access your watch later.
Oh, it's private. Well, if I give you the link to it, you should.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh dear, this isn't going well. Does not give me the option of doing that.
Just copy the link up in the URL bar.
Hold on a second. I am having issues. It would appear. Okay, well, I'll find you a better one then, because that's pretty lame. Okay, this thing's being an ass. So hold on. Usually just goes smoother. It's just picked this time to just go terrible. Of course.
It happens.
The way it works. Like, oh, you have visitors. Let me fuck this up for you. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, my laptop's like 12 years old, so I should be happy it works at all.
Fair enough.
So, all right, so private chats. This one looks more interesting anyway. And let me find the link for the next video as well. Okay, I guess I can do that. Oh, that actually did the opposite of what I thought I was going to do. Oh, that's weird. Okay. That.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's not just like odd stuff. You're just like, what?
Okay, I am sharing in the bottom. If you want to pull it
All
up.
right, hold on. I'll send you
From
the link to
horror
the
movies
next
to
thing
thriller
too.
novels, there's no setting scarier than one that takes place inside a terrifying home.
Be quiet. Peter. Ah! Sorry. Sorry, everybody. I thought I had this all planned out, and I was wrong. All right. Oh, stop sharing screen. That help. Okay.
There we
we
go. That
Ah.
should be clear. Is that clear for you too, baby?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we should have the audio shared.
When you go out and explore the world, you never know what you may find. You could discover something that changes the way people see the world forever, or make some really creepy and scary discoveries, as we'll see in this video. From gigantic lines in the ground which may prove aliens exist, to parts of lost monster creatures. I'm Charlie, and today we're going to look at scary discoveries found in unexpected places. Before we get into it, why not discover the subscribe button and press the notification bell too. Alien lights. If I told you that alien lights were spotted, then you'd likely think it was a fake story. But this comes from a report in the American Journal of Modern Physics. In 2016, they made a startling find. They were using a newly developed telescope for the first time, and when using it, they discovered some extraterrestrial entities in the environment.
What?
These pink dotted lights were invisible to the human eye, but the Galileo telescope with a convex lens was able to see it. The entities were said to be moving intelligently. This suggests some kind of surveillance
They
of
look
the
like
area.
squids!
The lights were seen at night over Tampa Bay, Florida. The scientist behind this, Dr. Sam Tilley, found the first known evidence of an apparent existence in our universe. The telescope can also see antimatter galaxies, antimatter asteroids, and antimatter cosmic rays. But the most amazing discovery were these alien lights in the sky. These have been independently verified by his colleagues, and they're now on an official list of invisible terrestrial entities, also known as ITEs. This is as close to aliens as we've ever got.
Look,
What?
Moa Birdfoot.
Moa bird.
In 1987, some archaeologists were doing an expedition of a cave. The cave was Mount Owen in New Zealand. But as they were exploring, they found something very scary. They found a gigantic dinosaur-like foot. It was still very much intact
Wow.
with scaly skin and flesh.
Is that
it was so
legit?
well
That's
preserved that the
freaking
scientists
weird.
thought the animal must have passed away recently. But upon further examination, it was revealed to be 3,300 years
Wait,
old. No
no,
one
no,
knows how
no.
the mummification
How does that should have decayed by then?
well, it depends on the temperature. If it's dry, if it's like cool and arid, it could somewhat mummify the hand or claw or whatever, because usually what causes breakdown is the bacteria, the blood going bad. If the hand was severed for whatever reason,
I
it
suppose
would
with
drain
a
the
foot-
blood, and if
Yeah, I
it's
was
arid
gonna
enough,
say,
it'd basically be like beef jerky. It would preserve it.
with a foot, we're not talking about internal organs. So.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like, it would have no blood in it to go bad necessarily, and then with arid temperatures, and it could easily preserve it, like basically like beef jerky.
When I die, I want to get turned into a diamond.
You're already shinier than a
You can
diamond.
do that. You know, you can
I
do
know.
that.
I've heard that they can actually take the ash and compress it into a diamond. I've
Yeah.
heard that, and that's wild.
Baby, I want you
Wouldn't
to
it be
wear-
weird to pawn? It'd be like, hey, can I pawn my grandma?
No, oh my god, no. Baby, I want you to get like one ear pierced and constantly wear me in your ear after I die.
You're assuming that you're going before me. That ain't happening.
I'm not going no, I'm not going after you. You can forget it.
All right, we're gonna have to have this talk offline.
Fine.
Suicide taxi goes.
Derailed. My bad. Here we go.
mummified remains of a prehistoric moa bird got into this cave. Back in the prehistoric ages, the moa bird was the largest bird in the world. The mystery is who mummified this bird claw, and how did it even lose this claw in the first place? Bella in the Witch Elm. This one takes place in Worcestershire.
Of course. Of
What
course.
happened?
Oh, it's an ad. It's an ad.
You don't have
In
YouTube
April
Premium?
1943.
Do what?
You don't have. I was say you don't have YouTube Premium. What happened?
No, I'm not getting YouTube Premium. F that shit.
They ain't getting my money.
They're not getting any more of my. They already take 30% of my paycheck every month. They're
Ouch.
not getting. They're not getting YouTube, bro. They can forget it.
Oh,
So, all right, sorry.
4 local boys were playing in the woods. That is when they came across a large wych elm tree. They thought it would be a good place to hunt birds' nests, so they tried to climb inside the tree. But as they did, they found a hollowed out trunk and discovered a skull. At first, they thought it was an animal, but then they saw human
I
hair.
think I
and
think that's an
teeth.
animal.
The boys
my
reported this to
God.
the police, and the tree was cut down. Inside, they found a complete skeleton with a shoe, a gold wedding ring, and some clothing. Forensics found out it was a female who'd been in there for 18 months. Unfortunately, there were no records to find out who this
How the
woman
hell
was.
did she get in there for 18
Dentists
months?
from all over the country were contacted to try and do some more forensics. But unfortunately, they never found out who this was. That is until a mysterious graffiti message in 1944. The graffiti, which was done on the street nearest to the wych elm, said, "Who put Bella down the wych elm?" This led investigators to trace who Bella could have been. The graffiti message was washed away, but it keeps coming back over and over again. And to this day, if you go to Worcestershire, you can see graffiti saying, "Who put Bella in the wych elm?" Police now
What?
suspect that whoever did it was also the person who did the graffiti. But because this happened so long ago, we may never know who put Bella in the wych elm.
Whoa!
Nazca Lines.
I know about the Nazca.
The Nazca Lines are one of the biggest mysteries in the world. They're located in Peru, and they were first spotted by commercial aircraft in the 1920s and 30s. Now with modern satellite imagery, we can get an even better picture of these lines. As you can see, there are hundreds of enormous lines. The geometric lines make depictions of animals, plants, and figures. And they were made over 2,000 years ago by people of pre-Inca Nazca culture. They did this by
Yeah.
removing the red surface pebbles to reveal the lighter earth below. This created many designs which could only be seen
Man, but
from
who
above.
oversaw
The
that and made
question
sure
is,
that
how
was
could they
done properly?
coordinate this without seeing from high up?
Yeah.
This has led to many
Right.
theories about aliens seeing this from above. Experts say the lines were likely a ritual communication between the Nazcas and their gods. But how could they orchestrate these gigantic lines
That's what I
from
want to
ground
know.
level? Maybe they had some help from something above. Barents Sea Craters. In March of 2016, some scientists from Norway made an amazing discovery. They had linked giant craters found in the Barents Sea to the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is said to be the most dangerous area of water in the world. Thousands of planes, ships, and boats have gone missing in the area.
Yeah,
Over
it's
the
something-
years,
it's
there have
something
been many
really weird.
theories about the Bermuda Triangle.
Probably some kind of
But
weird
really,
magnetic
no one knows
field.
exactly why
Yeah.
everything that goes near it goes missing. But these Norwegian scientists
Because
have a
everything
pretty
that's
good
gone missing
idea. They said the
requires
giant craters in the
non-magnetic
Barents Sea could have been
interference, like,
created by exploding
you know,
natural
not fucking up their
gas.
compasses
They
and
also
stuff.
say this has the possibility of being dangerous for vehicles in the area. The exploding gas could cause massive waves, which could tip over ships. And the waves could even go as high as aeroplanes, knocking them out of the sky.
What?
Igor Yeltsov, a scientist from Russia, also confirmed this theory. He suspects the secret to the Bermuda Triangle is methane gas. So it's likely that underwater in the Bermuda Triangle there's lots of methane gas. This sometimes causes explosions, making waves of water knock over vehicles. And that is likely why so many ships and aircraft go missing in the area. Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah.
We all think we know what Noah's Ark looked like, but one 2,000-year-old document rewrote history when it was found. The Dead Sea Scrolls suggest that Noah's Ark was something different than what we believe. As you can see in the scrolls, the Ark is shaped like a pyramid. This
Oh
was
my
discovered
God.
5 years after the scrolls were found. That's because the scrolls were so old and in fragments. But after a lab scanned tens of thousands of fragments, they found this image. Each fragment was photographed 28 different times at high resolution. When it was put together, they found new interpretations of biblical stories. As you can see, the pyramid-shaped ark has words saying the ark's tallness. This caused many to theorize that perhaps aliens were involved in Noah's Ark. You see, many connect aliens to the pyramids found all through history. For example, the mysterious
always
ancient
aliens
Egyptian
did it.
pyramids and the
Always.
Mayan
That's
pyramids
exact-
too.
that's what
A lot of people
Bone
have
said
no
right
idea how
here.
these pyramids were made. And the same is true for
No
Noah's
one
Ark,
fucking
which was a
knows.
pyramid.
Aliens. Although, I mean, it is hard
Frozen
to imagine
skier.
you're able to move such heavy stones into place.
In
so
2015,
perfectly.
some skiers made a scary discovery in the Italian Alps. They found Canadian skier Gregory Barnes. At first, the skiers thought Gregory was simply lost up the mountain, but they soon realized he'd simply been preserved. The reality is he'd been buried under snow for 35 years.
What?
The Italian authorities quickly came and retrieved Gregory, and the only reason why he was found after 35 years was because of a hotter than normal summer. This caused some of the ice in the Italian Alps to melt. This allowed the skiers to discover Barnes's body in a crevasse, and inside Gregory's pocket was his passport confirming his identity.
Wow.
Man of Sligo.
Dang.
That was aliens.
In 2014, Sligo Island experienced big storms. During this time, a 215-year-old beech tree was blown over. It's sad such an old and giant tree fell over, but what it exposed is even more sad and scary. Its exposed roots revealed a gruesome find of a young boy. He was around 17 years
God.
old, and it's thought his passing was the result of a human being. Analysis of the skeleton revealed he lived during the early medieval period. That is
Wow.
between the years 1030 and 1200 AD. Several injuries were visible on the bones. This includes 2 injuries to his ribs and 1 on his hand. Because he lived so long ago, we may never know what happened to this boy. But it's creepy that it took 215 years and a massive storm to expose this mystery.
Poor guy.
Bosnian spheres.
Bosnian spheres.
In March
I like,
of 2016,
wait.
a huge stone sphere was discovered in Bosnia. It looks like it's definitely man-made because it's a perfectly round sphere. But right now, there's a lot of debate as to whether this is
Tommy,
man-made.
check your DMs.
Radius of about 5 feet, and it could weigh over 30 tons, making it the most massive stone sphere in Europe. Natural sedimentation is found all over the sphere, and one archaeologist said it takes hundreds of thousands of years for this sedimentation to form. But what could have made this sphere?
What?
Some say it was man-made, but how would someone hundreds of thousands of years ago have done this? It can't even be done with the kind of tools and equipment we have now. That's why some say aliens or some other creature could have made this.
What?
But right now, scientists are stumped.
You're so cute. You're like, what? Like, I know, right?
But now it's time for you to make your voice heard.
Some of it's
Maybe they're
Vote in the poll
wrong.
in the top right-hand corner, which discovery was the scariest. If you want some more amazing videos, then check out my second
Can I just
channel.
point out,
But
like when you're sitting there saying, okay, so it's hundreds of thousands of years old because of this particular sedimentary that's on it or whatever, and it has to be hundreds of thousands of years old because of this particular sedimentary. But we know that hundreds of thousands of years ago, men weren't really men yet. They were really more like, ugh. Maybe your understanding of the sedimentary layer is wrong.
Sorry, wow, what is going on? Give me a second. All right, there we go. That thing was acting weird. Sorry.
Oh, you're okay.
And I was trying to hit the mute button and it kept moving, and I'm like, "Are you kidding?"
You would think that when they discover something like that and they say it's hundreds of thousands of years old because of the sedimentary layer, but we know that hundreds of thousands of years ago, men weren't really men. Like they were more like ugh. Not even that.
Kind of like that period lasted a long time as well because there
Like-
was there was like your average caveman, but your average caveman wasn't. It was it started with a D. There was like a regular caveman, and there was like another breed of humanoid that they end up mixing with.
Well, what I'm saying is that like at that point in history, there's no way they could have made that, which you would think would make scientists question their understanding of that sedimentary layer, not say definitively, oh, it still is that old, and how did they make it? Like, I'm just saying, like, it seems really weird to me that they never question like whether or not they've got something wrong in the science. That's I guess what occurs to me is like, if we know that there's no way, because they weren't even really humans, quote unquote, yet, like, then maybe there's something wrong with your science. Maybe sedimentary layers can form, like.
Well,
like,
they
not
say
that long ago.
sedimentary layers vary on environment, and you can't say all these thousands of years environments haven't changed, weather patterns haven't changed. So yeah,
I don't know. You'd think it would make them
that would
question.
not. That could mess it up because like I'm sure
Yeah.
Oklahoma doesn't have the same weather it did 1,000 years ago.
I don't know. I just haven't put on enough of a tinfoil hat to say aliens did it. When like
Well, there are things that make me wonder because like some of it like perfectly symmetrical stones stacked up that no human could lift. I mean, it makes you wonder. I get that. Like They do say the word alien a lot, though. It's like, geez, Louise.
That seems to be the go-to explanation.
Let me pull up this next. All right, let's put this up here. Get this.
We don't
back.
understand how this thing's possible. Must be aliens.
Right.
No, I'm lagging out. There we go.
To thriller novels, there's no setting scarier than one that takes place inside a terrifying home. When the one place that should be the safest of all becomes the scene for your very worst nightmare, where is there to run to? It's hard to imagine that your home could become a house of horror.
No!
But neither could the owners of the 10 terrifying houses coming up.
No!
Oh my God, yes.
Number 10, Shanley Hotel. It's never a good sign when, after arriving at your hotel, ready to enjoy a relaxing holiday, you're asked to sign a waiver before even getting your room key. If you're
Nope.
a guest at the spooky Shanley Hotel in New York, that's exactly what you can expect. In fact, this hotel is so haunted that no guest under
I have not
16 years
stayed in
old
a
can
hotel that's
enter.
supposed to be a
Said to be the scene of over half a dozen deaths, this former home is believed to be cursed. Visitors report hearing footsteps, seeing chairs rocking by themselves, and there have been many ghost sightings, including the moaning spirit of Beatrice, the former owner, whose 3 children all died in the home before their first birthday.
Hey, baby,
Here's
wanna
a story
go
of
there?
one sighting that was recorded.
Kind of
Sal
time.
Nicosia, the current owner,
Kinda.
remarked how after he moved in, his cat, which he had had for 14 years, would refuse to enter certain rooms. The cat then started doing strange things like refusing to move off certain floors and never exiting the house, despite freely
The cat
spending
was
most of its
14,
time
maybe it was getting
outside
older,
prior to
didn't want
moving
to go
in.
outside anymore.
Then
Or
one
moved a
night,
lot.
they recorded this
Or
creepy
cats
ghost
are just
encounter.
fucking weird.
Well, there's that. Yes,
If
we
that
are.
wasn't spooky enough, this hotel is so chilling that it inspired one of the scariest stories of all time. Stephen King was staying at this very hotel when he wrote The Shining. That's not
Oh.
exactly the kind of inspiration you'd hope for from a holiday. Who are these crazy people that actually pay to stay there anyway? If anything, you'd have to pay me a lot of money to endure that sort of trauma. Number 9, the Corpse Doll House.
Fuck
There's
no!
not much scarier than a house full of life-size dolls, except when those dolls are made from real corpses.
What?
That's what greeted investigators when they entered the house of Anatoly Moskvin, who was, on the surface, a Russian academic and linguist. But once they dug deeper, they discovered he was hiding a lot of dark secrets.
What?
Moskvin, a paranoid schizophrenic, had dug up the bodies of 26 girls, all aged between 3 and 15 years old. After mummifying their bodies, he would dress the corpses up in little girls' clothing, apply makeup to their faces, and pose them around his house. Apparently, he claimed to have felt great sympathy for the dead children and thought he could bring them back to life by either science or black magic. Unbelievably, Moskvin lived with his parents, who claimed they had no idea that the dolls were actually dead bodies. They
But
should
they
probably
didn't
consider
question
getting
him
their
just
eyesight
laying
tested.
dolls
And
around
probably
the
their
house.
sense of smell, too. Eventually, Moskvin pleaded guilty to a spate of grave desecrations, a charge carrying up to 5 years in prison. He's since been moved to a psychiatric clinic, and every extension
Wow.
to his stay has been approved since. Number 8, Villa de Vecchi.
Wow, that
Known
was
as
bad.
Italy's most
No!
famous ghost house,
No!
this abandoned
That looks
mansion
like
in
a
the
good
mountains
one.
was built in 1854 by Count Felix de Vecchi, the head of the Italian National Guard. It's said that the Count came back home one evening to find his wife had been murdered and that his daughter was missing, never to be found. Overcome with grief a year later, the Count took his own life inside the mansion. Since then, locals have reported ghostly goings-on, including hearing the piano playing every night. The high levels of
What?
paranormal activity attracted occultist Aleister Crowley, who is said to
Oh,
have
I know who
visited
that
many
is.
times to carry out seances and satanic rituals. It's safe to say that if it's somewhere Crowley liked to hang out, it's probably not high on anyone's list of dream destinations.
Yeah, Crowley was crazy.
Number 7, the Snake House. After buying their dream home for $180,000, a couple thought they made the deal of a century until they moved into their new property in Idaho. Not long after, they discovered they weren't the only residents calling the house home. In
Nope.
fact, the 5-bedroom house was pretty full already. Of snakes, it turned out their dream home was already the dream den
What?
for hundreds of garter snakes. And those snakes refused to move out, instead slithering around in the walls and popping out of places all around the home. Turns out the home was most likely built on a winter snake den, or hibernaculum. where the reptiles gather in large numbers to hibernate. Even their water supply was affected by the snakes, as it carried the foul, oniony smelling musk that the snakes released as a warning to predators. Eventually, the new residents called it quits with their nightmare neighbor and moved out, leaving the house to be roamed free by the wriggly reptiles. Number
Nope.
6. The Sally House, one of America's most infamous haunted houses. This house is said to be haunted by a demonic spirit called Sally. A
What?
former resident of the home, Sally
No, don't
died
put that
tragically
voodoo on
young
me,
after a
Bobby.
botched operation that took place inside the house. Sally is believed to have been
It's weird
the
the
first
long, tall
ghost that
Sally just
haunted the
went in my
house,
head.
but it's now believed to be the home for many lost and wayward spirits. In December of 1992, Tony and Deborah Pickman moved in, and their
can barely
stories
hear it.
are chilling. Lights would
Do what?
randomly turn on and off. Their
Yeah, you
dog
turned it
would bark.
down.
Do what? Sorry, I
You
can.
turned
I
it
can.
down.
I did. I can't hear you guys very well.
Oh,
Oh, okay. I can turn it up though. That's fine. Here we go.
sorry.
At their nursery room, and their infant would wake up periodically as if someone was playing with them. Neighbors could see the nursery window and even question the parents why they kept the light on all night with the baby sleeping in there. Of course, they had no
Hey,
idea.
Imagine
Deborah always switched off the light.
What?
Tony even saw the little girl one night as he went down to the kitchen. He then sketched what she looked like and showed it to a child of
Hey,
another former
Imagine.
owner, who identified it as her imaginary friend Sally from when she was younger. That's just one story. Former owners have reported literally every possible paranormal act imaginable, from seeing apparitions, objects flying through the air, and
What?
hearing scratching sounds coming from the walls, to child toys being strewn around bedrooms, only for the child to explain it was their friend Sally. Although
Okay,
the
that
demise
would
of Sally
probably
was
be
surely tragic, I think I'll pass on visiting to offer her my sympathy. Before I reveal the
Jesus
next example,
effing
you should
nope.
subscribe if you're enjoying the video. We upload amazing fact-filled list videos. Now let's get back to it. Number 5, Monte Cristo Homestead.
Oh, that's pretty.
Since being built in 1885, this house has become the scene of many tragedies and is today said to be Australia's most haunted house. The first family to live in the property experienced an unusually high number of deaths, all of which took place inside the home, including a young child who was dropped and fell down the stairs. A maid
Oh,
fell to
no.
her death from the balcony, and a stable boy was burnt to death. The mentally ill son of the caretaker was kept locked up inside a cottage on the property, and was one day discovered laying down beside the body of his dead mother. Shortly after being sent to a mental institute, the son died. Even after the original family moved on, the curse of death lived on inside the house, including
What?
the murder of another caretaker. Said to be haunted by the spirits of all those who tragically died here, this isn't a house I'd recommend to visit, especially if you're a caretaker. Number 4.
I'd go.
The Myrtles Plantation. This Louisiana home is a former
God, that's
plantation
pretty.
and is believed to be haunted.
Ah, mother trucking piece of poo.
Yeah.
I don't care. Shoot.
Sorry, you
by
guys. She
12
does not
victims,
have
including Chloe,
YouTube
a
Premium.
young child of a
Sorry.
former slave. It is also supposedly inhabited by the spirits of
God,
an
that's
unusually
pretty.
high number of people who have been murdered here. The rumor is that 10 people have lost their lives inside this house in various gruesome manners. One such murder victim was William Winter, who was an attorney and lived on the original plantation from around 1865 until 1871. Winter was shot to death by what was believed to be a complete stranger, and nobody has since uncovered the reason for such a cold-blooded killing. After being
Hi,
shot,
Bikini.
Winter tried to climb the stairs in a bid to seek help. However, Winter never made it up the stairs, instead bleeding out right on the stairwell. People have reported seeing ghostly apparitions, hearing footsteps through the hallways, and when TV show Unsolved Mysteries tried to film here, they reported experiencing many technical difficulties while trying to film. However, one of the most commonly reported paranormal experiences, and perhaps the most poignant, is that of the sound of footsteps climbing the stairwell, said to be, of course, the last dying footsteps of William Winter. Number 3.
Except
Loftus Hall.
if he's
Widely
crawling
regarded
up
as
'em,
Ireland's most
I'm just
haunted
saying.
house, the history of this house can be dated back to 1170. It has a long and bloody history, and many a
Wow.
spirit is said
I mean,
to roam
that
its
long, though.
hallways. The abiding building is so frightening that
is it
locals
weird that I
claim it's
want to
haunted by
go
the
to all
devil
these
himself.
places?
In the
I
1600s,
Not at all,
I'd do
that
it.
a young girl living at the mansion called Anne was
We should
playing
go live
cards
stream
with a
there.
sailor who was seeking shelter from a storm. During the game, Anne dropped a card, and when she looked under the table to retrieve it, she saw that the sailor had cloven hooves. After Anne screamed in shock, the sailor revealed himself as Satan before
What?
disappearing into a ball
Oh,
of
what?
fire. It is said that Anne never recovered and lived the rest of her days in shock-induced silence. When she died, her muscles had seized, meaning her body couldn't be straightened. so she was buried in the same sitting position in which she had died. Catholic priests have since tried to exorcise the house, but the exorcism didn't end its ghostly reign, as staff working there have since claimed to have seen Anne's ghost walking down the stairs. Number 2. Ancient Ram Inn. This 12th century building in the village of Watton-under-Edge in the UK
so
is
pretty.
believed to be riddled with up to 20 specters who torment visitors. Built on an ancient pagan burial ground and also believed to be the scene of child sacrifices and devil worship,
What?
it's haunted by the likes of
Oh
a
my
murdered young
goodness.
girl called Rosie, a high priestess, and even a male sex demon known as an incubus. But despite
Ooh.
its ghoulish reputation, some people are mad enough to actually pay to visit, which is why it was briefly turned into a bed and breakfast before its owner's death in December of 2017. Still,
Really?
most visitors who paid around $50 a night refused to stay in the room named the Bishop's Inn because the ghost of a monk is said to haunt the room on a regular basis. Some
Wow.
who did sleep ended up fleeing in the middle of the night. Before revealing the number 1 spot, here are 2 creepy occurrences people noted in equally scary houses that didn't quite make the top 10. First up, a filmmaker scouting a location for a BBC nature documentary came across an abandoned house and decided to investigate further by entering the building. Once in there, what he saw immediately stopped him in his tracks. The walls were bleeding. After
What?
overcoming his shock, the filmmaker realized the truth was not quite as bizarre, but was, perhaps, almost as terrifying as fiction. The bleeding walls were actually the result of an infestation of hundreds of bats in their digestion.
Oh,
holiday
another
gift
trucking
guide is
piece of
here.
pork.
This year, give the gift of comfort and save up to 20% on bedding, cushions.
Digestive system. Still, it gets creepier. There's nothing quite like creepy crawlies to get your skin crawling
Ugh.
and your mood creeped out. So imagine the horror of coming across a house like this that's so completely infested with spiders that their webs are blocking the hallways. That's
Ah.
what happened in one Missouri home
Nope.
after over 6,000 brown recluse
I would
spiders.
set that place
were
Brown
perhaps
recluses?
even better just to let
Nope.
the spiders have the house. Number 1.
Flamethrower.
McCamey Manor. The ultimate house of horrors, McCamey Manor is a haunted house experience like no other. It's so intense, nobody has
Oh.
ever
Yeah.
completed it. The experience is supposed to last around 8 hours, although most don't make it this long, and it's so horrific that it reduces most visitors to tears. Whether it's being tied up, forced into small spaces, or covered in snakes or spiders, whatever your worst fear is, the staff at McCamey Manor will make sure you face it and fail. The experience takes place in 4 separate locations, each one designed to push visitors to their physical and psychological limit. Basically, it's an
That is
interactive
such a
horror.
bad idea.
Every participant must be over 21, free of medical conditions, and sign a waiver, which should really be the last red flag telling you to stop. Even so, there's a waiting list of over 24,000 people. Makes me seriously question the sanity of the human
Wow.
population. In comparison to
many
McCamey Manor,
people
I think a
are that
haunted
dumb.
house full of ghosts and spirits sounds like a much better time.
Yeah.
So which house would you refuse to enter? Have
That
you
last
ever
one.
That
experienced
last
an
one.
encounter with the poltergeist? Let me know
No
your thoughts
I
in the
would
comments down
flamethrow
below.
the house.
I
with
just,
the
yeah, I'd bring a
spiders.
flamethrower to the one with the spiders.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. That needs to get burnt down. I don't give a
Molotov
fuck.
cocktail.
Yeah,
that
brown
shit. I wouldn't
recluses
go
don't
in.
mess around. Those,
Yeah, those things will kill you.
those are deadly.
Those things
That's
will
that's
absolutely
way
kill
worse
you.
than Black Widows. Black Widows, for an adult, healthy human being, you'll probably run a high fever and feel like shit for a little bit.
Yeah. No, freaking brown recluses are not a joke. Like, not a joke. We used to have like a few that would occasionally pop up in our house. It was not fun. My dad was an exterminator for a long time, so he would take care of them.
Kayaker finds 110.
Yeah, not okay.
Kayaker finds 110-year-old ghost ship. These kayakers came across an abandoned 110-year-old ghost ship in the tributary just off the Ohio River.
Cool.
The photos are cool, but what's more incredible is the history of this ship, and the things it has seen before its current resting place. Scroll down to see for yourself. One day, this kayaker and some friends came across what looked like an old shipwreck in a tributary of the Ohio River. Getting closer, they decided to get out and have a look around.
Heck yeah.
The ship turned out to be 110 years old, but still structurally sound enough to explore. Plant life was growing up through the base of the ship. There was some kind of engine machinery still on board. It looked like it had been sitting there for decades. Mystery of stuff. Little did they know, the ship has quite the unusual past. Many years ago, it was used as a sightseeing vessel in New York City. It was also repurposed to fight in both world wars.
Whoever makes these videos does this really
Thomas
weird.
Edison once
Yeah,
used the
like,
shipwrecks
why are
for
you pausing
scientific
for 8 years in
experiments
between
communications technology. It even had a cameo in Madonna's Papa Don't Preach music video. Yes, that's really the same boat.
Huh?
In the late 1980s, the ship was taken out of commission and transported to a tributary near land that belonged to the ship's owner. It has rested there ever since.
Something a little more wild.
This old rope still holds the ghost ship in place.
It's really weird the way they do the audio for this.
It remains there today,
It
rusting
is.
and
I
silently
must
watching
admit.
the passing of the seasons.
It almost sounds like it's a robot reading it.
I think it is a robot reading it. But yeah, that's really weird.
Mystery of stuff.
I love Japan.
Gunkanjima Island, Japan. The real name of this island is Hashima, but it was nicknamed Gunkanjima, which means Battleship Island. It was first settled in 1810 when charcoal was found there. In the following 50 years, it became the most densely populated island in the world. 5,300 people lived there, but the radius of the island itself was only about a half a mile.
Wow!
In 1974, however, the charcoal and other fossil sources were depleted, and people gradually left Gunkanjima. Access to the island today is restricted, but the locals have quite a few stories. Island. Between 1891 and 1974, around 15.7 million tons of coal were excavated in mines with temperatures of 30 degrees Celsius and 95% humidity. In 1916, the company built Japan's first large reinforced concrete building, a 7-floor miners' apartment block, to accommodate their burgeoning ranks of workers. Concrete was specifically used to protect against typhoon destruction. Over the next 55 years, more buildings were constructed, including apartment blocks, a school, kindergarten, hospital, town hall, and a community center. For
That's not at
entertainment,
all.
a clubhouse,
That's way
cinema,
too much
communal
stuff
bath,
on that tiny
swimming
ass.
pool, rooftop gardens, shops,
I'm gonna get more
and
coffee.
a pachinko parlor were built for the miners and their families. Beginning in the 1930s and until the end of the Second World War, Korean conscripted civilians and Chinese prisoners of war were forced to work under very harsh conditions and brutal treatment at the Mitsubishi facility as forced laborers under Japanese wartime mobilization policies. During this period, it is estimated that about 1,300 of those conscripted laborers died on the island due to various dangers, including underground
Oh, that's
accidents, exhaustion, and malnutrition. In 1959, the 6.3-hectare, 16-acre island's population reached its peak of 5,259, with a population density of 835 people per hectare, 83,500 people/km to 216,264 people per
computer-generated
square
voice.
mile for the whole island, or 1,391 per hectare, 139,100
I don't like people enough to live that close
was a
to them.
residential
Holy shit.
district. As petroleum
That
replaced
TV
coal in
though.
Japan in the 1960s, coal mines began shutting down across the country, and Hashima's mines were no exception.
Should make it a private
Mitsubishi
island.
officially closed the mine in January 1974, and the island was cleared of inhabitants by April. Today its most notable features are the abandoned and still mostly intact concrete apartment buildings, the surrounding seawall, and its distinctive profile shape. The island has been administered as part of Nagasaki City since the merger with the former town of Takashima in 2005. Travel to Hashima was reopened on April 22, 2009, after 35 years of closure.
On the bright side, we have some ideas of where to hide during a zombie apocalypse.
Fair enough.
I guess so.
I don't know.
You can't expect perfection in the apocalypse.
I think that's. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just pictures now. This looks weird.
Yep. That's also be a good place for the apocalypse. Nice and fenced off.
Where is this?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever heard of Waverly Hills?
No.
The sanitarium in Louisville,
this place
Kentucky.
is massive, and we're currently just looking for a way to get in because I mean,
It's haunted as
there's a
hell.
lot of windows, but that doesn't
Oh,
mean
where
there's a
is
lot of
it
ways to get in. So that's the watchtower there. I'm hoping to get into there at one stage or
Yeah,
another.
check that out.
And that's our way in. Okay. Oh, I can't wait.
Kick in a door and see what happens.
Okay.
What the hell?
Oh, we're literally in the basement.
Nope. Oh shit! Look at all that stuff.
Nine. Color recyclers.
Printer? What? Why would that just be sitting there?
We are currently inside of an insane asylum in the west of Ireland that was originally known as the Connacht District Lunatic Asylum. Now, Connacht is a province in the west of Ireland.
Lunatic. That's a word you don't hear enough anymore.
But back when this
Well,
asylum was
they're
built
Irish,
in
you know.
1833, Connacht had a population of over 1.5 million people, and this asylum was to accommodate for every single person in there with mental illness, although it only had a capacity of 840 people. Although it had a low capacity, it did actually start off with good intentions. It was supposed to be an institute for curable lunatics, and that phrase is a little bit loose, but it basically means that it was supposed to be an in and out system where people came in, got treated, got cured, and left. Unfortunately, regardless of the good intentions that this place may have had, the asylum became pretty much an unorganized mess by the year 1900. It did this by admitting over 1,100 people, which obviously defeated the in and out system because too many people were staying, but also because it only had a capacity of 840 to begin with, it basically was difficult to treat every single patient who was coming in and out of the institute. Anyways, we are here today to document this building's history. We want to walk around and see what it's like now that it's abandoned. So far, I've only been here for around 15 minutes, but it definitely is quite creepy. I'm getting lightheaded from the air that's around here. I've got massive.
Dude, it's probably lead paint, bro.
That I think we're gonna
Right?
use for this exploration.
I'm getting
Anyways,
lightheaded.
let's go.
Could be a ventilation issue. Carbon monoxide, radon, lead paint. But you know, yeah, I'm sure it's just ghost making dizzy.
Wow.
Try harder.
2008. So this was relatively recently that this was
More or less active. Yeah, yikes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if this is an argument against socialized medicine or not, because that's what they have up there in Ireland and England.
Man, watch me jack those freaking giant washing machines and figure out how to make them work.
Yeah, 2008, so you might still be able to get parts for them.
Wow. People just broke in.
Oh, people like to go in and vandalize shit because they're assholes. I don't like humans much.
See, look at all that good woodwork. Mm.
Yeah, good woodwork. There's some furniture that could probably go to needy homes. Like, they could probably recycle a bunch of stuff there.
Ah, I swear to Bob. Oh, hello.
Wow, hello.
Hi.
This
Okay.
is what you
I
wanted.
was not expecting that.
So
I think I
after
just got,
exploring a lot of the
I think I
first
just got
and
15 new
we
likes
decided
all
to
of a
check out
sudden.
the third, and it was around this time that we started looking for some kind of a way to get up to the watchtower. Obviously, there must have been some kind of a route to get up there. People had to go and make repairs and change the time, but we couldn't find any kind of way to get up there at first until we found this very slim door that you would easily walk by that had these very dodgy, slim-looking stairs. But those are the stairs we had to take to get us to where we wanted to
Let's
go.
go!
And
I wanna
surprisingly,
go!
when we
Let's
got to
go!
the top of those stairs, we actually found that there were some
Sounds like a
lights
grand
that
old
were
time.
on for some reason or another.
What?
There were a whole bunch of wires around, so I'm assuming it was connected to some kind of a generator. I was okay with not finding out where that generator was. The attic was pretty creepy to begin with, and I was okay with just getting in and out. To me, it was definitely the creepiest and most ominous area of the entire asylum. It was very cool to check out and explore, but it was definitely a place where I didn't want to overstay my welcome.
Can't imagine why.
Why are there lights on?
It's holes in the it's skylight.
No, that's a light. Look. There are lights on.
He's probably holding a light.
No. There are lights, light fixtures that are on. He was just saying.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, see, it's skylight. It's coming out of the skylight.
Look at that clock.
All right, guys, what is up? So we are currently on top of the actual asylum, and as you can see, the view is kind of incredible. It actually is kind of beautiful in a weird way. The watchtower is right there. We just popped in through.
Watch me jack that bell.
Actually, through the light is completely on. So I have a feeling people
Oh, it
come
doesn't
in
even have
here.
a bell anymore. It's probably one of those electronic bell sounds.
Always have a screwdriver with you. Just saying.
Well, yes, I do agree with that. Always have a screwdriver.
Feeling a little exposed right
And one of those little crowbar looking things.
This is really cool. Though. I love this. This is the best exploration we've ever done. High five. Let's go.
Speaking of clock tower, we got a Back to the Future reference.
This place is creepy though.
It is. This is why it's fun to
Just
watch them instead of
random
having to
chairs
be
in
there.
places.
I'm too broke to go anywhere.
God, that paint is just horribly chipping. Why are those lights on?
They probably put in wired up some lights or something so you can see in there. Well, except for there. See, now you complain. Now it's dark. See? Oh, okay. Yeah, the creepy music really helps.
Yeah.
It'd be weird if we just heard him crunching on glass as he walked, you know?
This is just a fixer-upper. Baby, this is a great investment.
Yeah, that's a good investment.
Yeah.
Looks
It's
like.
yeah,
Just
if
a bit
it's
of a
free.
fixer-upper.
Yeah, if it's free.
Look at that. Look at them stairs.
Gift is delivery
Arrgh.
done. Ask your expert shopper for baking. Or
I got
please.
lagging and you have commercials.
So after a couple of hours, we
Well,
had
thankfully it's
explored
only like a
most of what the
30-second
asylum had to
interruption.
offer. So we decided to leave. It was a really interesting exploration and a really interesting place. When I stated earlier that the asylum started off with good intentions, I did mean that. But good intentions had a different definition in comparisons to what it's defined as now. When I got home, I decided to look into some records in similar asylums in Ireland. I did this because I wanted to find out the reasons as to why somebody would be put in a place like this, and the reasons were fairly creepy. Ireland, of course, is a very religious country, and in the early 1800s, the
The Catholic Church had an immense amount of power in this country, so going against them or going against the Bible was enough to get you put in a place like this, and there was a very
Whoa.
good chance that you would never leave. Simply expressing different opinions was enough to give you the label of crazy and enough to have you placed inside of an asylum. And that was definitely something I noticed when I was there. Being there felt very strange,
I like
knowing that
the
people had
vines.
been mistreated there,
Indeed.
walking in the same halls. Although it happened a long time ago, time does not erase the acts by any means. With that being said, this asylum is actually only one of dozens of abandoned asylums that are around Ireland. It is a strange, bizarre part of Irish history that is rarely ever talked about, probably because of how dark and creepy it is, but it's definitely something I want to explore more of on this channel, so I hope you will indulge me. Thank you very much for watching this video. It was very enjoyable to make, and I can't wait
Yeah,
to make
Ireland's got a really nasty history of some
I
really
hope you guys
fucked
have
up
a
stuff.
great day, and as always, until next time.
Ooh. I'd go there.
There was some Irish, old abandoned Irish hospitals and orphanages where there was actually children found buried in the yards of various ages, because like companies, what better to experiment than on unwanted children? So like they'd be medical experiments would be done on them, and if they didn't survive it, they were buried there in the churchyards, stuff like that. I think it was like a couple of years ago, I read an article of some of the bodies go all the way back to like the 30s or 40s.
Jeez Louise.
Some don't even have proper markers on them because they were trying to hide it, and I think they were even found in septic area because they didn't want to get in trouble.
Jesus, good.
Oh yeah, Ireland's got some fucked stuff. So,
These
yeah.
ghost photos are scaring skeptics. Photos are scaring skeptics.
I'm sure the title is much more sensationalized than is necessary, but the headline's definitely an attention grabber.
Well, let's see.
I always skip over this guy. I'm just like,
Subscribe button and get ready.
Disturbing. The story behind
that I could
this
probably explain.
is disturbing.
That's probably taken through a window, and you can see the reflection of somebody in the dome light in the back.
Yeah.
And 30 years later, it's still causing a stir.
I mean, it's still unpleasant, or it's double exposure.
It dates back to a 1984 car accident involving 4 teenagers. The exact circumstances leading to the crash are unknown. However, some have blamed the winding roads. Regardless of the cause, the teens lost control of their vehicle that night. They hit a curb and crashed into nearby trees. As fate would have it, 3 of the 4 teens survived the crash. It proved fatal for the boy in the front passenger seat. At just 16 years old, the teen boy tragically lost his life. What followed was a routine police inspection, complete with photos capturing the scene of the accident. Not having witnessed anything abnormal at the time, the police officer sent the photos off to be developed. However, what the police department found in those photos was distressing. The first signs of supernatural interference were floating red and yellow dots visible in many of the photos. However, they wouldn't go on to raise any red flags on their own. But one of the photos in question would haunt those who saw it for the rest of their lives. The photo seems to have captured the boy's spirit yelling in agony.
I mean, that could just be
Disturbed
light.
face visible and clear. Some even believe you can see the outline of a brown Labrador. Some say it's the very same dog that belonged to the boy recently deceased.
I don't see that at all.
Admit, it seemed the photos captured 2 unique spirits.
Start auditioning for the role of Mr. Fantastic with all that reaching you're doing.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I think there's a double exposure that probably happened there. The camera's obviously moving as well, that blur.
Yeah, it's just, somebody didn't hold the camera steady enough.
And probably didn't advance the film correctly, since that was the early 80s.
DIY gardening, this picture can only be described as nightmare fuel. The photo was taken at Easter and was simply an attempt to capture a nice gathering of friends. As the title of the submission explains, the photo features one guest who was certainly not invited. We see the food laid out and a group of friends standing by, but there's one glaring addition to this photo that certainly doesn't belong. In the mirror, you can see the creepy and shadowed face of their uninvited guest.
How do we know that? The dude's cut off and she's on the other side of the dude.
Wearing a white mask.
What?
Like
That's
many
goofy
similar
because we can only see half the guy, and she's on the other side of him, so we can't see
Yeah.
her.
the parties
Yeah.
involved were able to examine the
That's
photo.
not verifiable.
However, once
She's
they did
pasty. Maybe she's just Irish.
find by this creepy figure,
Can't
Honestly,
confirm.
That could just be a
This,
mess.
they have no idea who the person might be.
Or weird lighting.
This unwanted guest didn't stick around for too long after the photo was taken.
Yeah, cannot verify.
Yeah.
To the news outlet, The Irish Mirror, by Paula Whelan, this selfie of her daughter's friend appears to have gone horribly wrong. In this instance, the selfie seems to have strayed past fun and silly and gone straight to disturbing instead. While looking through the selfies in order to delete the less than
Oh,
perfect,
shit.
the friend came upon something utterly horrifying.
There actually is an app in a phone app you can actually take selfies and things like that will appear.
Enough to send shivers down anyone's spine and make them take a cursory glance behind
Yeah, it's like
themselves.
Ghost Picture app or something. Like you go looking for something like that, and whatever picture you take, it looks like there's a ghost in there. That it like puts it in there.
The longer you stare at this particular photo, the more eerie it feels. Some viewers claim it's nothing more than a Photoshop job, but the family
Yeah.
insists they've not manipulated the image in any way.
Well, of course they're gonna say that.
What are they gonna say now? We fake that shit.
Posted by Reddit user Project Mindless, this photo seems to suggest that something eerie happened when this picture was taken. Taken at a family gathering, we see 6 people all smiling happily at the camera. However, if you look closely, it would seem a spirit has attempted to join them. With all the happy faces, it seems as though none of them had any idea this dark, shadowy figure lingered behind them while capturing the photo. Directly behind the poster himself is a small, dark figure, heavily shadowed.
That's not a dark, shadowy figure. That's a kid.
There's a kid in the back of the photo.
Get a better idea of
What
what
are you talking about?
really is. You can see a small, childlike figure directly behind the group.
Not childlike.
It's not childlike, it's a kid.
Oh my god.
Family was seriously creeped out upon reviewing the photo. They say
That
they
one
have
on the right is
no
really
creeped out
hardcore
now.
photoshopped.
no
Yeah.
other explanation for the face behind them. The group seems to believe that a ghost chose their family's gathering to visit that day.
That's nonsense.
Yes.
Utter nonsense. That's
Try
just
again.
Well, some of these are funny to laugh at and make fun of. So yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Uploaded to Reddit by user Ricky on Radio, this is yet another ghost photo set to creep you out. It reveals an invisible and horrifying presence in an otherwise peaceful home. The uploader explains that this photo was taken by their aunt. The photo of her son after he got out of the bath should have been a cute and precious memory. However, it quickly turned into something far more sinister. The uploader explains that the two were the only ones at home when the photo was taken. This makes the appearance of the person in the corner of the room all the more mysterious and eerie.
Oh, for
In the
goodness sake. Y'all were bored and wanted to do something with that picture.
Background,
That's just a
you can see
person.
a hand and white outfit. of some-
Exactly.
What the?
There's just a person there.
What's even more unsettling, the uploader posted a second photo showing what the room normally looks like unobscured.
That's just a toilet.
When you
It
compare
looks
it
not
to the
particularly
first photo,
sanitary.
it looks like it would be impossible for a person to be standing in the corner, not unless they were wedged tightly up against the toilet.
Oh,
Then it was
yeah,
a really bad
still.
crop shot.
Find that their
maybe she
ears
was
or
trying to get out of the way so you could take the
room
picture.
the photo was taken. Some viewers have suggested the spirit to be that of a nurse or another figure wearing a lab coat. Others pointed out that the thumb on the figure seems to be unnaturally pointed.
Not really.
So
Oh,
what do
for
you think
goodness
is going
sake.
on in this strange photo? Love to hear your thoughts on this one in the comments section below.
Boo,
Try harder
that's my
next time.
comment.
That's my thought.
Sent in by Tammy D. It
That
came
looks like a
with
blurred picture of somebody holding a kid.
good.
Exactly. That's exactly
Tammy
what that
knows
is.
that
Kid's blurry too. Is he a ghost?
She was playing around with her phone's camera. As Tammy explains, no one aside from herself and her granddaughter were present in the room when the photo was taken. Showing a disturbing figure behind her granddaughter, Tammy asserts the figure was not visible when the photo was taken.
I
This
don't believe
implies
you.
that the figure only happened to be accidentally captured by her granddaughter.
I don't believe you.
As Tammy
do not
explained,
do that.
the presence of the spirit in this photograph is easily the scariest thing that's ever happened to her.
That's a person in
Those
a
who have
hoodie.
previously scrutinized the picture have questioned whether the figure was Tammy herself, but she assures viewers that this is not the case. In fact, Tammy has her own theory behind the origin of the spirit.
I'm sure
Built
she
on
does.
Ford, Tammy's quite positive that many people had likely been buried beneath their home. Looking for
Of course,
people
Tammy.
who were restless, a spirit seems to have wandered into their old home and into
Tammy's
the photo
creative.
taken by Tammy's granddaughter. With some relief, Tammy has since moved from the allegedly haunted home.
Ah. Skip.
Sent to the news outlet The Irish Mirror by Gráinne Dowdall.
A lot of this
Okay.
shit seems to be happening in Ireland because they're all crazy over there, I think.
That's Snapchat.
As with previous ghost photos, the
So they
spirit went
say.
unnoticed until the selfie was reviewed.
See, that doesn't
As
look
the
like
girl
anything
strikes
to
a
me.
pose in the mirror, another figure is seen striking a pose just outside her window.
That doesn't
It
look
looks
like
to be
anything
a
to
pale,
me.
expressionless face hanging just outside of
Kinda?
That doesn't look like anything to
Luckily,
me.
the article confirms
That could
the
literally
girl's
just-
bedroom was upstairs, meaning
Oh.
this couldn't have just been someone passing by.
Yeah, but it could have just been light play.
Instead, the latitude of the room and the
Yeah, it's
spirit's
hard to
odd
say. It could be like, I don't
wards a
know.
genuine haunting.
That
Some
could
viewers have
literally just
suggested
be.
it could be an odd reflection or perhaps
yeah.
even a case of pareidolia, a tendency humans have to identify familiar patterns in the things we see,
Yeah.
i.e. a face hanging in the window. Still, the image is chilling nonetheless, and until further information comes to hand, it will have to remain a mystery.
Not really, though. It's just.
She's like, not really.
We take a look at an eerie
Or
photo.
just go
There's
on living our lives.
something we've already shown in this episode. Remember to hit that subscribe button, then tickle that little bell icon there, and turn on all channel notifications. That way you'll be notified every time we drop our scary and mysterious videos. Also, remember to give that thumbs up button a bit of blunt force trauma. Sent into the news outlet The Irish Mirror by Ciara O'Callaghan, this last photo is certainly an eerie one. Facebook's facial recognition software seems to point to the legitimacy of this sighting, throwing off even the most hardened skeptics. As the family were taking a series of nice family
We're trusting
photos,
Facebook as a beacon of truth. Is that what we're doing?
root taste.
All the facial
When they-
recognition in it.
See an odd shape in the ceiling that resembled
Okay,
a face.
my question is, why would you lay there and just take a picture of your fucking
They
ceiling?
uploaded the image to Facebook. It even gave them the option of tagging it.
You
as
know what
if
I'm
it was
saying? Like, why? Like, why? Why would you take a
It's
picture of the wall and the ceiling?
a self-described skeptic. She
It's
admits
another one of
she
those
had
apps I was telling you about that, like, makes it look like someone's there when they're not.
explanation other than
I
the
honestly just feel like
supernatural.
that's just the way the
For now,
light's
she
casting.
admits she herself couldn't find any other potential cause.
I want to know why she's taking a picture of the ceiling and the wall for no damn reason.
Playing with
You're
darkness.
just looking for trouble when you're doing that.
The reason the face should have appeared. However, altering the image only seemed to deepen the mystery.
It's just the way the
Strangely,
light
face in
landed.
the ceiling bears a striking resemblance to the selfie we showed earlier.
Yeah, because they're probably using the same app.
Are
Oh.
these shapes related somehow? Perhaps there's a filter that can imprint eerie faces.
Yes, because
and
you can download one of those little apps
maybe
that
not
do it.
within an app or filter that has similar looking
I know someone who
effect.
tried it in 2013 and they took a picture of like nothingness, but they had the app on it. It made it look like a ghost was in the room when it wasn't.
Mother trucking piece of poo.
Now, don't get me wrong, that would be kind of, I don't know how those apps work, but like, if it was a way to install it without someone knowing they took a picture and saw it, it'd probably scare the shit out of them. That'd be great.
Yeah, I feel like none of that was necessarily like I could buy that was an app because it's weird that those two faces were basically exactly the
Exactly.
same.
Like if you go to Doug says, so I guess the new Assassin's Creed Valhalla game came out. Apparently so.
I thought that was
Hold on,
Red
let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Ghost pick prank. Yeah. They have a whole bunch of little apps that will like make it look like there's a ghost in your picture. I figure out which way this camera is. There it is. Yeah, so I can take a picture of something and it'll make it look like there's a ghost. That's why those two probably look the same. It's probably the same app. But they're funny to watch though. They're definitely, some of them are silly, and yeah. Like some of the videos are usually better. Like maybe I should start looking over this stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I don't consider myself to be not necessarily a skeptic, but I am skeptically minded, I suppose.
Oh, it's good to be skeptically minded. You don't want to look silly in front of people.
Like I feel
Nobody
like
wants to get played. Here's another one that looks like it could be kind of cool and maybe a little less lame, hopefully. Full historical disappearances that were never solved.
Do what?
Oh, I said the other video says historical disappearances that were never solved. That could be cool. I don't know, but yeah, like I said, these are videos usually just sort of like picking it apart, making fun of it, trying to decide is it real? Is it no? This selection, I gotta say, I kind of wish I pre-watched this selection to see how lame it was gonna be. They're usually a little cooler than this.
Well, I like scary videos, and I like things that make you question, you know, like what's going on or whatever, and like I'm all good with that. But like it needs to be like legitimately committed. Faces and windows and stuff.
Yeah, like I have a bunch of apps right here. I can download one, take a picture of the computer screen, and it'll look like there's a ghost there.
Yeah, that's just too easy.
That's why I'm like, yeah.
Just way too easy to do these days. It takes a
Yeah,
bit more.
I mean, there's some like that one from like that car accident in 1984. That was most likely a double exposure that happened. The film wasn't advanced, so it took a picture on top of another picture. On top of the fact the guy was moving at the time, that didn't help because apparently they don't look very good photographers for crime scenes.
See,
or whatever.
I don't know enough about double exposure and things like that to be.
Oh well, I'm fairly old, so basically double exposure is like you get your film. You tuck it into this part and you clip it into this part in your regular film cameras. You close it. Now, some would automatically, as soon as you took a picture, would move it over to the next frame. But some of them you'd have to do it with a little wheel, till it clicked into place. And then you know it was ready for the next frame to have the image exposed onto it. But if you weren't to do that or didn't do it properly, some of the image from the last picture, it would still be on there. So when you took your new picture, half of the old picture would be still on that part too.
Okay.
And so it basically got double exposed with two different images, causing things to look like that.
Weird. Well, I mean, I get it though.
Yeah. And so that's basically, yeah. So when you see pictures from like 80s and older, there's a chance that's what happened. Darn it, Bone. Shh. Shush. Anyway. Bone wants me to show you the UFO video.
UFO video?
I decided to do it on YouNow, and the YouNow was connected to my YouTube, so it was streaming on two different platforms. And I thought I'd go outside and let everybody see the nice night sky, and like I was trying to record like just environmental sounds, like the crickets and the this and that, and show the moon because it was out nice and everything. Apparently, like Bone and some other people spotted something moving strangely that I kind of saw, but I was also kind of ignoring it because it was face front camera. So I had to go like this to make sure. So I couldn't keep going like this and looking this way. So I was trying to, Bone, dadgum. I'm not even.
Is the video on your phone?
No, it's on my YouTube.
Oh, okay.
It's let me see if I can find this. Oh, crap! I don't know if I have it anymore.
Oh no!
I got bagged on for having like the ASMR thing. It may have been for that. So let me go look.
Yeah, if you have
it,
if you have a link, I could.
I'll see if I can still have it because I wasn't even thinking about it. Oh, excuse me. Let's see. Videos. Let's just go straight to videos. It's gonna be easier. So I don't know what playlist it'd be in.
Yeah.
You laggy bastard.
Do you know how long ago you put it up?
A month or so ago.
A month or so ago?
I wasn't thinking about it too much.
What do you know what you named it?
Yeah, I think it was in that. Yeah, I think it was in the videos that I deleted, I think.
Oh no.
Well, I wasn't thinking about it at the time because I was getting made fun of for like a playlist that I had, and so I deleted them.
People made fun of you?
Who do you think?
I mean,
yeah, I know it's lame, but yeah, they were just finding stuff to pick on me about, and they were just so hung up on it. And so I was like, whatever. So I just got rid of it.
Man, I would never do that for just to
I was just sort of tired of being bagged on about it, so I was just like, whatever.
I've seen weird stuff.
Right, but like, I'll see if it's in live streams. It could be in live streams. I doubt it, but I will look. Ooh, it's not looking positive. Yeah, it was for like sound effects and stuff. So everything I did for sound effects and environmental sound stream got deleted.
No, that's
I don't. Yeah, it does. So I'm afraid it may not even exist. It was just like weird little, as they usually are, a little dot of light, and it was moving erratically. It wasn't moving in a normal fashion. So. Oh, hold on.
When I was
It is still there. I left a comment with a timestamp. Okay, I will look.
I saw weird stuff one time. I'll never forget it. I was outside. God, I want to say maybe 14 or 15, probably 14, I want to say. Because it was it was before we'd moved into our new home I grew up in a trailer. And so I was out on my front porch one night, and I was just like, when you're a teenager and you're just like, oh, the world is so cruel, and I'm going to write poetry. And
I didn't write poetry, but I did hate everything.
I was out on the porch one night, like in the evening, and I was just like out there sort of trying to be poetic, I suppose. And I looked up at the night sky, it was feeling so, teenage angst, romantic and all that jazz. And I look up and there's this really bright green light that was very low to the ground and very fast. The thing was zipping around like it was zipping around like a laser pointer almost.
Right? Yeah, it was very erratic movement.
Yes. And it was very fast, but it was clearly fairly big as well. And this was before drones were a thing. And I was just like, what the heck is that? I'm watching it for a minute, and then it zips off down in the direction. So my friend Summer, she lived about a street and a half away from me, and it zipped into her direction. So I get on the phone and I call her, and I was like, get outside and look. She's like, I am outside and I see it. And I was like, what is that? And she was like, I don't know. So we're having a freak out on the phone together. Yeah, we both saw it, but we did think that it was some kind of, it was a UFO in that unidentified flying object or whatever, but
yeah,
it was like.
But what kind of aircraft? We do not know.
It felt alien. It felt really alien. So, to this day, I don't know what it was.
In July 4th of 2011, I got talked into going to, I think, Yukon. Like I'm on the east end of like where Oklahoma City ends. And then you got like that whole part of Oklahoma City, and then way on the other side of that, like Yukon, El Reno, and all that shit. So I got dragged off to Yukon to hang out with some people for 4th of July. And this is broad, bloody daylight, might I add. Anyway, so everybody's drunk except me because I don't drink beer. I don't drink anything now. And then I would drink like Jack Daniels if there's nothing else, but mostly I was a tequila person. They just had beer. So I was sober. Anyway, so we're looking off toward the south, I think, because I don't really have my bearings over in Yukon, but we're looking in a southerly direction. And there's a fireworks display going. So it's still a little bit daylight, but they're getting started a little early. It's starting, the sun starts to set, And we're watching it. They're drinking. I'm not drinking anything because I'm boring. But anyway, and we see something kind of orange come out of it. And so we think it's like an ember. And I'm sitting here like, and this is probably a half mile or so off. And I'm like, why am I able to see an ember so closely? Like, why can I see it so clearly? Because it's not really, you can tell it's not close, but it's big enough I can see it. I'm like, what kind of fucking ember is that? But it's like, anyway, so it starts flying. I realized, I can't tell quite how far it is, but this is clearly bigger than an ember. And it had a shape almost like a teardrop shape, and it was the color of fire. And it was started moving erratically, going up, stopping. It almost like it disappeared completely, like it blinked out of existence. Then it reappeared over here, moved erratically, stopped, and then gone. And I'm looking at people like, am I the only one seeing this shit? And they're like, yeah, I see it. I don't know what I'm seeing. I'm like, neither do I, but I am not the only one. So, like, I'm sober seeing this, asking drunk people, are y'all seeing this? And they're like, yeah. And I'm just like, and at the time I had a flip phone. So yeah, you can imagine I had no
technology
whatsoever.
right there.
2011, we all had flip phones.
And I was sitting here like, I was like, God, if I had known, I would have brought a camera. Shit. That's why I'm so glad about having camera phones now, because like you never know. I haven't seen anything quite like that since, because holy shit. But like it was just flying very erratically. It was like an ember that just wouldn't die out. And then, like I said, at one point you couldn't see anymore. Like it blinked out, and we're like. And then there it was again. We're like, and it was off to the north it went, and we're like, okay, that wasn't weird or anything. And like, I don't know. It was like, I don't know. It was odd because, like I said, it was shaped like a teardrop. I'm like, that's not aerodynamic. Like, I mean, unless you're falling, which it wasn't, but. Yeah, I remember when I was young, my dad said that when he worked over at Fort Sill, which is way over that, not Fort Sill, I'm not, Fort Sill's in Oklahoma, Fort Smith, which is in Arkansas, my bad. Pointing my south and east directions are all confused. He worked at Fort Smith, and he said that, and this was like mid-60s, like 66, something like that. Anyway, that he had seen something strange. And they even sent aircraft up to chase it. And then they did some kind of announcement at the base saying, like, it was just some clouds and some rainmakers chemicals. And he was like, yeah, because you totally sent aircraft to chase vapor. Or right. Okay, sure, awesome. All right, whatever you say, boss. Anyway, yeah, he told me that, and I was like, because my dad, I knew my dad not to be a liar. I'm like, is he fucking with me? Like, or maybe like, I don't know, everybody thought they saw something. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Then I saw that, I was like, you've got to be kidding. You've got to be kidding.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of unexplained stuff out there that we just don't know or understand. And I'm open to the possibility of stuff. But
well, yeah, I mean, we're discovering either new life forms or discovery of fossils of life forms we didn't know existed even on this planet. So who's to say what's on some other planet somewhere?
Yeah,
you know,
I feel like
it'd be silly for us to think that we're the only ones that can do anything, but it's still weird.
I feel like it's unlikely that we are alone in the universe, but I also feel like it's probably just as unlikely that anything's advanced enough to travel through space.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we seem to think we're so damn smart and we're managing it, and humans are kind of dumb. Like, so there easily could be some, you know, a race of something that might be smarter than us.
I mean, I don't
Humans
know.
have to raise the bar a lot recently.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's possible that there, because it took us, a long time to get where we are now, and so I'm feeling like it's altogether possible that there are just
maybe other civilizations advanced better. Maybe they worked together better and got stuff done better than we did.
It's possible, but I feel like it's equally and probably more likely that they just haven't advanced that far yet.
Or maybe they're just waiting
we've
for us to mess
advanced-
ourselves up.
We've
this is why,
advanced-
this is why aliens don't talk to us, kind of thing. Like there's something doesn't happen, they're probably like, yeah, they're not ready for us yet. No.
Well, no, what I mean is what I'm trying to say is that they're not advanced enough to fly through space. We've come a really long way in a relatively short period of time. Okay, over just the course of the past 5,000 years or so, we've gotten to really this sort of pinnacle of technology from digging in dirt, and so it's easy for me to assume that if there are aliens out there, they're probably just not that advanced.
Why? What would stop them from being as advanced as us?
I'm not saying there's anything stopping them, but what I'm saying is that we've advanced very, very quickly, even just in the past 100 years.
Very
right?
much in the last 100 or so years, definitely.
And I just find it difficult to believe that, considering how quickly we have advanced as a species, it's just difficult for me to believe that another species would advance quite so quickly. Granted, I don't have a measuring stick here, so we don't have anything else to compare ourselves.
Say their civilization didn't start before ours, though.
But it's altogether unlikely that it wouldn't have started before ours. The truth is that it takes a long time for life to get started at all, and an even longer time for it to get going into anything that resembles life. So it's just really,
Well,
really
even if like everyone's like civilizations or life forms got started at the same time, it could be a civilization where people just got along better and didn't hold each other back and help advance each other. And I mean, if our planet could do that, we'd probably be even more advanced than we are.
Yeah.
So sometimes it could be something simple as cooperation that would help a civilization advance better than another.
But cooperation is very difficult to achieve because
for us,
but I think because we don't have a measuring stick, right? It's very difficult to see a situation in which any form of life that is coexisting with any other form of life doesn't find themselves within direct competition for things, right? Conflict is a result of, generally speaking, competition over something. Or something that why do we get into wars with other countries? Because we want to do things this way and they want to do things a different way, and their way of wanting to do things, you generally speaking will, if we're going to go get into it with them, is going because it's impeding our ability to do what it is we want to do in our way that we want to do it, right? That's, I feel like, a universal truth, right? Anytime you have people or anything that's thinking and figuring it out that wants to do things a certain way and anything gets in its path, there's going to be conflict. So
conflict is inevitable anytime you have more than one idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, I just don't see. Will we get to a point where we figure out how to avoid conflict? I doubt that. Where we figure out how to work together more productively, maybe. But it's not easy. It's not easy at all. It's honestly a miracle we pull it off as well as we do.
Well, because we're on this planet, we're measuring by what we consider human standard.
Well, but
and so they might have a different measuring stick than we do.
But you can't imagine the unimaginable, right? And so that's all we have to compare to.
So, well, no, that's true. That's why their civilization either A, got started before us, or B, they learned how to cooperate with each other and work together, they could have advanced it.
I can't
I mean,
I can't see that scenario because it resembles
I
nothing
think
like
because
anything
on the
I've ever
planet we don't
experienced.
want to imagine that another civilization can be superior or equal to us. We can't imagine. It's hard for us to picture that. We picture ourselves as a default.
What does that look like? What does that look like in practice? I don't see it. I can't see it because it exists in no form I've ever known, and so
Well,
nothing.
there's some countries that just have like more rational civilizations or cultures or rules, and like sometimes it happens in the U.S. There's countries that don't go to war as often as we do. There's countries that are making advancements in like physics and whatnot somewhat better than we are. We're having that on our very own planet. It's not hard to imagine that could be in another civilization altogether.
There is no time throughout. There's no place throughout time immemorial that we know of where there isn't conflict between one person, one civilization, or another on the planet. There may be times of peace between some civilizations and another, but civilizations rise and fall. Or at least certainly they used to rise and fall constantly. This whole basically kind of living in pretty much peace is a new thing, right? This is a relatively really new thing because back in the day, literally all anyone ever did was fight.
Yeah, because their idea of peace was conquering someone else, and we haven't really changed much, to be honest.
I think we've
Because if
changed
there's not
quite
a
a
war
bit.
going on,
We've changed quite a
gonna
bit.
make it.
We now understand and respect borders, right? There's, at least for the most part, certainly the Western world does. There's this notion now that you respect another nation's sovereignty, right? We don't attempt to conquer anymore.
We do have a lot of military bases in a lot of countries that don't like us.
That's not conquering though. That's occupation at most. But even that's
a pretty way of saying conquered occupation. That's pretty.
If we're not running their government, that's not conquered.
You can't say there's not some intimidation or something if there's a base not far away.
I think American people, certainly at least in America, we would sure as hell be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Most definitely, we'd be like, "Excuse me."
Moira, I really do have to scoot. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I think after 2 hours, everybody's probably like, "Whoa, this all went weird."
No, it's just the store's gonna close in about 15 minutes, and I've got to get up there.
Oh shit! I know you have shopping to go do. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I didn't realize it's 8.
Yeah, it's almost 8. Yeah, and they'll be closing here in about 15 minutes. So I'm gonna have to.
I think we videoed people outside because I didn't pick very good videos this time. I'm sorry, y'all.
No,
you're good. You're good.
I'm gonna have to like go through them and at least skip through them and make sure they're don't sound weird or like they're not as good. Because some videos are just kind of cooler than others. So this selection, I was like, ooh, I didn't do very good on this one. I was going personally on the thumbnail and title like a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So, I'm sorry. I actually do only have like 15 minutes though, so I'm gonna have to go.
It's okay because I probably actually have to get some stuff too. I didn't realize it was 8. Y'all stores are still closing early.
Well, this one does, and
oh
yeah. So
I hate that. I got so spoiled by having 24-hour Walmart. I didn't know what to do, and they started closing at 8. I was like, what is this? The 90s? What the fuck is going on? Anyways, well, tell the world, tell our people that you love them.
All right, thanks everybody. Hey, my name is Mary B. I'm the Mistress of Mayhem, disruptor of the narrative, and official Wayman Cutter Holder. You can find me over on my channel, Mary Mayhem. I talk about newsy news stuff during the week and have a little fun on the weekends.
She said
I'm
that's
Caffeinated Wolf. You can find me over on Twitch. You can find me over on Twitch at Caffeinated Wolf. Find me over on Twitter at Caffeine Wolf, and you can find me running the geeksandgamers.com forums.
And it was so awesome of y'all to come by. Y'all are awesome.
Thanks for having us on, Moira.
I had a good time.
I will try to have better selection of stuff next time. If you come
You're
by and
good.
visit me.
You're fine, sugar.
Mwah. Anyways, but love y'all.
Take care.
I'm gonna go find the end broadcast button. Anyway, but thank y'all so much for coming by. Optic, Darth, Bone, apparently 2 bones. Mwah. We love you all. They all love you all too.
Love
Mwah. Oops, I forgot I had to hit that twice, don't I?